Hi there, back again. So this is chapter 16, the Island of Flores, and there's only 20 chapters in the book, so we're right in the heart of the story now. So now Molly and Sidonie have gone to the Island of Flores, as they were told by the two men arguing after eating their truth serum. They're going there to see if they can go and find the real Queen Atototzli. Let's see how they get on. We hurry out of the mountain settlement, and I take one last look behind, searching desperately for a glimpse of my gran, even though I know there's little I can do now. The best we can do is hurry to this island to find the Queen, otherwise I dread to think the fate that awaits my Granny Moo. Do you know where we're going? I ask as I run along, puffing and panting behind Sidonie. I've never run this fast, not even on sports day when I came a spectacular last in the 1500 metres running race. The island of Flores is one of the oldest settlements in Guatemala, Sidonie replies. It's a tiny village surrounded on all sides by deep blue waters. It's home to many rare species of parrots, and the waters are full of beautiful coloured fish, giant turtles, and maybe even a croc or two. She smiles as she says this, and I shudder. I've never been very fond of crocodiles in the aquarium, let alone snapping around my ankles in the ocean. Will we find her, do you think? I ask. Queen Atototzli, I mean. Of course, she smiles. The island of Flores is tiny, and I've a hunch I know where she'll be kept. There's an ancient church in the centre of the town. Below the church there is a crypt. Superstition surrounds the deep underground tunnels of the church. Flores was home to an ancient civilization known as the Maya, and people are frightened of the ghosts of these ancient people. They believe they still inhabit the church crypt, restless souls wandering in the underground tunnels. Very few villagers would venture into the crypt, so I'm guessing the Queen would be quite safe from prying eyes if she was hidden there. I'm not at all happy about the possibility of lost souls wandering around a creepy old church, but the way I see it, we have little choice left to us. We carry on through the jungle and seem to be heading downhill. Eventually, we come to the edge of the jungle on a kind of a beach. My shoes sink into the soft sand, and the tiny sandy grains work their way up over the sides, somehow settling between my toes. Even though the light is fading fast, I can make out the water's edge, and I can hear the waves lapping softly onto the shore. Suddenly, Sidonie disappears from view for a second, only to return a few minutes later, dragging a small, round-shaped boat of some kind. You are joking, I mutter. I've never been the world's best swimmer, and the thought of drifting out into the ocean in what looks like an upturned washing bowl fills me with fear, especially if we run into any curious crocodiles along the way. Don't be nervous, laughs Sidonie. We're quite safe. Yeah, right, I mumble grumpily. Help me drag her towards the water. I move towards our boat and begin to help Sidonie drag it to the water's edge. We have to drag it round a large boulder, and as we steer round it, the boulder begins to move towards us. I cry out, wondering what on earth's going on. Sidonie chuckles beside me. It's just a turtle, she laughs. Beautiful, gentle creatures. They won't hurt you. Guatemala is home to some of the world's most endangered giant turtles, nature's gentle giants of the sea. I breathe a sigh of relief and stand back to watch in wonder as the giant creature moves slowly towards the shoreline. In moments, the turtle has disappeared into the waves, and I silently wish him well on his journey to wherever he may be going. When the boat is resting in the shallows of the ocean, Sidonie and I climb carefully aboard. She removes 2 oars from inside the boat and begins to push the boat out to sea. She rows with amazing skill, and I'm surprised by her expertise. Before long, we're floating in the night air out in the ocean with only the stars to guide us and the gentle lapping of the waves around our boat. Every now and again, I'm sure I see a large shadow in the water beside us, coming into and then disappearing from view. The dark round shape seems to be following our little boat, gliding beside us as we travel, and I feel strangely comforted by its presence. We don't travel for very long before we reach a small jetty, and Sidonie cleverly guides the boat towards it, tying a loop in the rope attached to the front and lassoing it around the pole at the end of the jetty. She pulls gently on the rope, and we drift easily towards the small set of steps that lead up from the water and onto the jetty. As we climb out of the boat, the dark, round shadow circles around us and then disappears down into the depths of the ocean. We climb silently up the rickety wooden steps and make our way through the narrow streets, keeping close to the edge of the buildings, hiding in the shadows. Sidonie seems to know instinctively where we're going, and I follow close behind her. Many tiny houses line the narrow streets, and the town is quiet and dark, except for the glow of an occasional lamp in the windows of some of the houses. The town's totally empty and has an eerie atmosphere. We pass by the ruin of an ancient temple, and I'm startled as parrots swoop and squawk across the crumbling remains. Just past the ancient temple, there's a small square in which stands a tiny stone church. Sidonie falters, appearing to scan the streets for any signs of life. When she's certain that we're alone, we tiptoe towards the church and up the uneven stone steps to a wooden front door that takes up almost the entire front wall of the building. The door is held together with large metal nails, and in the middle there is an enormous round metal knocker with the head of a gargoyle at the top. I look away from the hideous ornament. I'm sure the ugly thing is staring at me. Sidonie carefully turns the knocker and it creaks as it turns. The creaking seems to echo in the silent darkness, and my heart is beating so loudly in my chest I'm sure it can be heard by all around. The door creaks open and we tiptoe inside, taking care not to bang it shut behind us. Inside the church there is a large round stained glass window, and the light from the moon streams in, casting a glow over the room. There's an altar at the far end upon which burns at least 100 tiny candles, and to the far right an organ with metal pipes that reach up in the high ceiling. Stone-carved gargoyles stretch out from every pillar and corner, and I feel like 50 pairs of eyes are watching us as we move through the church. Sidonie leads me to the back of the church to a tiny wooden door. The doorway is so small I have to dip down to pass through it, and I'm seriously in danger of wetting myself right now. Once through the door, we make our way down a narrow set of steps that seem to go down forever into the belly of the earth. I cast my mind back to the last time I went down a set of stone steps and make a promise to myself that when I am grown up, I will live in a bungalow. I never want to see another set of stairs as long as I live. When we eventually reach the bottom of the steps, we find ourselves in a stone-walled room, which is obviously the underground room of the church. The room is completely bare, except for several great stone pillars supporting the church above us. We tiptoe from one pillar to another until we come to another wooden door. Sidonie opens the door, and I have to cover my mouth so that I don't scream out loud. I wonder what she's seen. We'll find out in chapter 17. See you later.